Hi, I'm Ames. I'm the owner of Indie Bindi Fabrics, which is an online fabric store that specialises in independent Japanese designer fabrics. So beautiful fabrics, colour and unique prints are exactly what inspires me. So when Seamwork proposed the theme of clashing prints for a Project Runway style challenge, I was more than keen. Besides, nothing gets the sojo going like a deadline. So my first stop was Pinterest for inspiration. Once I decided on the silhouette and the combination of garments that I wanted, I then went to the Seamwork pattern library to decide which patterns to use as my base. I knew I wanted a cropped short sleeve high-low jacket, a shirt to go underneath, and some tailored yet comfortable pants. So when I looked through, the quince robe was the perfect base for the loose-fitting drop shoulder jacket that I wanted. I knew I could play around and hack with the sleeves and the hem details and widen the collar. And then for the shirt, initially I thought I'd go with the Adria and play with the volume of the sleeve. But when I looked a bit further, I ended up deciding on the Madu because I love the raglan cut of it. And then finally for the pants, initially I was thinking the Marit or the Channing pants. The Marit has a lovely wide-legged flowy look, and then the Channing is more tailored with some pleats on the front. But I ended up choosing the Callahans because they had that more tailored fit at the top, yet were kind of loose fitting or slightly wider leg. So those were the three I ended up going with: the quince, the Madu and the Callahans. So taking cues from my inspiration image, I started with the quince robe first. And with the pattern hacking, I kind of just played it by ear as I went, which I think is part of the fun when you're doing it. So the first thing I did was I did the high-low hem, and I curved the hem across the two pattern pieces, so the front and the back, and I just kind of eyeballed it. Held the pattern pieces up against me and decided if I thought it would work. Next, I doubled the width of the collar. And since the collar is the last piece that you sew onto the robe, when it came to it, I just basted it on and see how it sat. And I ended up shaving a little bit just at the top of the neckline so it would sit nicely at the back. I also shortened the collar so I got the kind of step effect that you see in my inspiration image. And I also played with the length of the sleeve. So I left off the cuff and then I just pinned on the mid sleeve and decided what length I thought would work for the look I wanted. And then I sewed it on. And I ended up with this cover up that I love and I know that I'll wear a lot. So next, when it came to hacking the Madu, I played around with this quite a bit in the volume of the sleeves. So I slashed and spread the sleeve pattern piece to get that kind of puffiness that I wanted. And then also, I believe, lengthened the bodice. And instead of adding the elastic all the way around the neckline, what I did is I still sewed the double rows of stitching all the way around, but I only put the elastic in over the top of the sleeve, so that would gather all the volume at the shoulders and give me that volume that I wanted there. So I just stitched the elastic at the front and back of the sleeve head. And I was going to add elastic at the bottom of the sleeve as the Madu is designed, but when I tried it on just to check the length of the sleeve, I loved it as they were, so I just left them. With the Callahans, I was planning just to leave them as they were. I graded from a 16 at the waist to a 14 at the hips and through the leg. But when I tried them on in true Project Runway style, there was like just before I was going to take my photos, there was a last minute kind of panic around the fit because they were really loose and they were sitting low. and there was gaping at the back, and so I ended up just pinching out the width that I needed, and it was about 2 knuckles, very technical, and I just I eyeballed it again and just sewed a line, 2 knuckles all the way down to nothing at the hips, and then they fit perfectly and I love them. Also, with the Maru, when I tried it on for my photos, there was too much fabric through the body. So again, just kind of 4 finger widths, again, very technical. From the bottom of the arm side, I started to sew a line, and I just took it in about 2 inches, and or not even, 1.5 inches, and then down to nothing again at the hemline, and then it was perfect. So the moral of the story there for me is just to play and go with the flow with these makes, and I've ended up out with this print clashing outfit that I love, and I hope you like it too. So after deciding which patterns and how I was going to hack them, the next fun piece is deciding which fabrics to use. So running a fabric shop is heavenly. It's a sewist's dream because I'm surrounded by fabric all the time, but it also means I'm spoilt for choice. So how I went about it was I pulled out my would like to use soon pile, and I went through it, held the fabrics against each other, and just kind of decided what felt right. When it comes to clashing prints, there's a few different ways I like to go about it. So the first is using the same print but in different colorways. And then another is to choose a color that runs through the different designs and ties them all together. And finally, playing with scale, so pairing a larger, bolder print with a smaller scale design. And in the end, I went with these 3 fabrics, with yellow being the theme that kind of tied them all together. So I chose the Asatsuyu design for the Callahan trousers because it comes in a thicker cotton and it's lovely to wear. And I also thought the dark grey background would kind of ground the outfit. I chose the Koeda print for my Madu top. I thought the pops of yellow were beautiful and they complemented the Asatsuyu really well. And finally, I chose the tulip design for the cover-up, which is the quince robe, and I chose that in yellow and also red, just to introduce a new colour and change things up a bit. And with this design, the white space I feel gives the eye a place to rest amongst all the fun that's going on. And coincidentally, I ended up with the nature theme as well, because tulip, obviously nature, but koeda also means small twig, and asatsuyu is morning dew. So you can see the little dots of dew on the leaves in that one too. So I thought that was quite fun. So then it comes time to sew it up. I like to go with the flow, and there were definitely adjustments that I needed to make as I went. So that includes like truing up the edges of the bodice to make sure it aligned, doing lots of fit checks along the way to make sure the sleeves and different widths were as I wanted them. So yeah, it was just basically having fun with it and letting it evolve as it needed to. And I've ended up with this outfit that I really love and I cannot wait to show you. So let's have a look. I love this outfit and I will be wearing it on repeat. And not only that, I will be wearing it with just about everything else I own, because really when it comes down to it with clashing prints and mixing colours, I think you should just wear whatever makes you happy. You can throw the rules out and just do what brings you joy. So let me show you some combinations. So if you love these fabrics and you want to see more, or if you just want to chat all things sewing, pattern hacking and print mixing, you can find me at Indie Bindi Fabrics on Instagram and also in my shop at www.indiebindi.com.au. So I want to know, are you a clashing print lover like me? If not, have I convinced you? Are you going to give it a try? Let us know in the comments, and thanks for joining me on this challenge.